Hello friends, welcome to Dr. Rajesh Verma's YouTube channel, and in this video I'll be talking about classical conditioning, meaning of classical conditioning. And we know classical conditioning is the theory of learning. So let us discuss what is learning. Learning is the permanent modification of behavior due to experience. So in classical conditioning too, there's a kind of modification in behavior, and that to be the permanent one. So in technical words, it's a learning process that occurs when two stimuli are repeatedly paired, stimuli of different characteristics, different nature. When two stimuli are paired, they are expected to elicit a similar response. That means they are paired to elicit a similar response. If we achieve that, that is nothing but a classical conditioning. It's a response which is at first elicited by the second stimuli, is eventually elicited by the first stimulus alone. It's also known as the respondent conditioning. The subject who responds to the stimuli based on that, this name is designated for this classical conditioning. And it's a kind of modification in behavior, so it's a behavioral process where a relational bond is established between natural response and discrete stimulus. Discrete stimulus means the stimulus which is not naturally responsible for the particular response, which when we pair it with the natural stimulus, when that time the subject responds. So we repeatedly use the word for the natural response will be UCR, and the natural stimulus will be UCS, and the discrete stimulus will be using CS, that is conditioned stimulus. UCR means unconditioned response. UCS means unconditioned stimulus. So how that relational bond is established between the natural response and discrete stimulus? By associating it with what? Conditioned stimulus, CS, which elicits natural response. So our idea here is how the conditioned stimulus elicits the unconditioned response. Now, what is the theoretical framework on which this important theory of learning stands? Conditioning is usually done by pairing the two stimuli. One is unconditioned stimuli and other one is the conditioned stimuli. UCS with CS, as in Ivan Pavlov's classical experiments. And you know, the classical conditioning concept was proposed by the Ivan Pavlov, a physiologist, rather a Russian physiologist. Classical conditioning, or we know it as a respondent conditioning, is a form of learning in which a biologically significant stimulus, such as meat powder, for the dog, unconditional stimulus is associated with conditioned stimulus, such as bell. The natural stimulus through which the organism responds with a natural response pattern. If that natural stimulus is conditioned with a discrete stimulus or stimulus which is not at all related with that response pattern, as in the Pavlov's experiment, the bell was the discrete stimulus, meat powder was the unconditioned stimulus. So when that meat powder was repeatedly paired with the bell, then the response of the dog, which was elicited by the natural stimulus, was also or eventually elicited by the bell also. That was the interesting part of the classical condition. The conditioned stimulus produces no desired response at first, as in the case of Pavlov's experiment. When initially bell was rung for the dog, there was no saliva. That is the important part here. But after, when the conditioned stimulus was paired with the unconditioned stimulus, it start eliciting the conditioned response. This means when bell was paired with the meat powder and the bond was established, post that event, even after hearing a sound of the bell, the dog starts salivating. This means the conditioned stimulus could elicit that response which was reserved for the unconditioned or natural stimulus. And that was the modification in the dog's behavior. And that means dog has learned to respond to the conditioned stimulus. That is learning. What Pavlov has done is very important experiment. He presented dog with a ringing bell. That is the conditioned stimulus, because no ringing bell will elicit a response, as because no ringing bell will elicit the saliva in the dog. After that, he presented the food, that is the unconditioned stimulus. That's not a natural stimulus. The food elicited salivation, that's a natural response, and after repeated bell food pairing, a relationship was established. Then, even before presenting the food, the dog could salivate by hearing the bell sound. That is the conditioning, means the dog was conditioned to respond to the conditioned stimulus or the discrete stimulus in the form of the bell. So what is the process going on between these conditioned stimulus and unconditioned stimulus? The basic process in classical conditioning is that the CS, remember what is CS? Bell, becomes associated with and elicit the unconditioned response. That response which was supposed to be elicited by the unconditioned stimulus, meat powder in the case of Pavlov experiment. Pavlov presented dog with food and measured their salivary response. Then he began ringing a bell just before presenting the food. At the first, the dog did not begin to salivate until the food was presented. After a while, however, the dog began to salivate when the sound of the bell was presented or heard by the dog, even though there was no food presented. So they learned to associate the sound of the bell with the presentation of the food. Now, there are various technical terms used in the classical condition. Unconditioned stimulus or natural stimulus. Generally, we use the abbreviation UCS. It's a biological significant stimulus that can elicit an unconditioned response without training is called the unconditioned stimulus. Suppose if there is a food and we are hungry or not hungry, the food elicits a specific response that we start salivating. So the food acts as a unconditioned stimulus for us, and the process of salivation is the unconditioned response. So unconditioned stimulus means it's a biological significant stimulus. Then conditioned or environmental stimulus or the discrete stimulus. The stimuli which elicits unconditioned response, that response which are reserved for the unconditioned stimulus. When this process occurs, when repeatedly the conditioned stimulus is paired with the unconditioned stimulus. That time the individual start responding with the unconditioned response. In Pavlov's case, when food was paired with the bell. Food was UCS, bell was CS, and with both these stimuli, there was only one response from the dog, that is was the salivation. Then unconditioned response. Generally, we use UCR as abbreviation. What's that? The instinctual or unlearned response that occurs on presentation of unconditioned stimulus. Means the response which is not learned by any process or any event. That's natural one. That has come from our instincts. When, for example, in the Paulo's case was the salivation by the dog when presented first time with the meat powder. When we are presented first time with the food, we start salivating, and that occurs naturally. We need not to learn anything for that. So that is known as the unconditioned response. Similarly, there is a conditioned response. The response that occurs after training or presentation of conditioned stimulus. When on presentation of conditioned stimulus, when the organism start responding, and that response is purely associated with the conditioned stimulus, that is known as the conditioned response. For example, salivation by the dog just on hearing a bell. In our home also, we generally see this process. Suppose in the early morning or early evening, when we go for the milking our cows or buffaloes, the moment we keep that steel bucket near that calf, and the drop of that handle of the bucket creates a kind of sound. At that moment, the calf starts moving desperately for the food he is going to get. So that's a kind of conditioning. Mere the sound of the handle of the bucket initiate a natural response in the calf. We can observe this phenomena several times in our home. There are certain fundamental processes that occurs during the classical condition. First was the extinction, the behavior which has been learned while in pairing process, now no longer available on presentation of the paired stimulus. Remember, when the bell was ringing, the dog was salivating, and when the bell was ringing, dog was not salivating. That is the extinction. And the particular behavior stops occurring in the future too. If you keep on ringing the bell and you do not pay it with the food, after the few responses, the dog start with the natural response. Dog will not salivate after the continuous ringing of the bell without presentation of the food. In that moment, we call it as a extinction. The greater the difference between the two sets of circumstances, the more rapidly extinction occurs. Then reconditioning. The swift resurgence of the previous learned response after the both paired stimuli are presented to the dog. Remember, this reconditioning means the conditioning that which was done previously, now it is being recapped, and this time it takes lesser efforts by the researcher to pair both the natural and the discrete stimulus. Spontaneous recovery. The reappearance of weakened conditioned response upon reinstatement of a conditioned stimulus after an interval of time following extinction. When there is a process of extinction, after a certain period of time, if that response was weakened, in that case, if the both natural and discrete stimuli are paired, and the organism start responding spontaneously. That is the spontaneous recovery of the conditioned process. Then stimulus generalization, very simple phenomena. It refers to the fact that a response conditioned to one stimulus will tend to be elicited by other stimulus. Suppose if the dog was salivating with the presentation of the bell, if we replace the bell with a bell of different sound, and with that also if dog start salivating, this means the dog has generalized the stimulus. Then stimulus discrimination, differentiation between the characteristics of two stimuli for the response. The phenomena of stimulus discrimination is just opposite to the stimulus generalization. It is the process by which organisms learn to respond to certain stimuli but not the others. Means the organism learns to differentiate between the two kind of similar looking stimuli. If the dog start responding by salivation by the sound of a particular bell, and if a different kind of sound is produced by the different kind of bell, and in that case if dog do not salivate, this means the dog has learned the process of discrimination. Now what are the types of conditioning under the headings of classical conditioning? Simultaneous conditioning, the conditioning that occurs when the unconditioned stimulus and the conditioned stimulus are present simultaneously. Both food and bell are presented simultaneously. In that case, the type of conditioning is simultaneous conditioning. Delayed conditioning, the presentation of conditioned stimulus or neutral stimulus or environmental stimulus or discrete stimulus is overlapped by the presentation of unconditioned stimulus or the natural stimulus. Means the presentation of the bell is overlapped by the presentation of food. The conditioning occurs due to this process, that is known as the delayed conditioning. Trace conditioning, the conditioning during which conditioned stimulus, take it as a bell, and unconditioned stimulus as a food do not overlap. First, the CS or the bell is presented. Then there is a time is allowed to elapse. This time interval is given. After specific interval, the unconditioned stimulus food is presented. And under this process, that conditioning occurs, that is known as the trace conditioning. The time interval between the CS and UCS is known as the trace interval. And the backward conditioning, when the unconditioned stimulus, that is food, is immediately followed by the conditioned stimulus. Here the food is presented first, then bell is rang. This process ends up in a new type of conditioning. We call it as a backward conditioning. So dear friends, these are my references. This is a beautiful learning process and one of the most classical theories of learning. If you want to know more, refer this, and our next discussion will be operant conditioning. By the time, if any question, any queries or any critical comment to make, you can write your comment in the comment box or you can email me at vamasujit@yahoo.com. Thank you friends for watching.